I'm so impressed with everybody here, and it's amazing. It just happened, didn't it? A lot of people go into the 80s and have maybe 4 or 5 people that they are in their extended family. And look what all I have, riches. It's wonderful. And Polly is such a treasure. And Mary's going to speak now for the rest of the family.
That's not very fair. But I'll tell you, all of you have been so special to me because I don't have any kids of him. And you're my kids. And you have been over the years. We've done things together, like skiing with the guys. Yeah, that's right. A number of things. We've had good times together. And Shirley's always there to help, and Margaret's there to do your hair if you want your hair done. There's always something, but the family has been, not too many families have this, with this closeness, and we can all be together.
You can tell that we're not emotional at all. This hardness of attitude toward life. But it's really special. And I hope we pass it on to you, which I know we do.
I think you have. We're all here. That's your generation that taught us.
Yeah, that's really true, because you have other families that, I mean, it goes on now. There's another generation coming up. We just don't have them all here.
Yeah.
And Mary, I know we talked about this yesterday, but not everybody here knows the story because there's in-laws around. The skiing.
Oh, yeah. That's
Okay,
story,
well, Aunt Mary's probably about 13 years older than I am. And it was, well, actually backtrack a bit. The earliest picture I have of her is
in that wagon.
in that wheelbarrow, Dad's wooden wheelbarrow, pushing us 3 little goobers around in it. I think I couldn't have been more than about 5 years old, and Rick and Dave were younger than that. And there she is in her black and white shoes and white bobby socks, typical of the 1950s. And that was the look back then. But that was my first picture of her. Wow. But then, of course, she's older and she's off to school and all the rest of that, and the rest of us are growing up. But then we had a family Christmas at Dad and Mom's place in the basement, and turkey dinner and all the rest of that. This was on December 25th, and by then we're all, I think I was about 18, and a bunch of us cousins said, let's go skiing at Manning Park tomorrow. And Aunt Mary pipes up and says, can I come too?
I did.
Well, this isn't the same Aunt Mary that we knew from the picture. But, okay, we didn't know what to expect. Well, we just had a blast up there on Manning Park.
You took turns on the chairlift.
On the chairlift. And you connected so well with all of us, and it was just, we found out what a wonderful person you were, and as an adult, and you connected with so many of us that day as well. We had a great time.
It was a good day. And Mom was at home worrying where we were.
Yeah, we had such a good time, we came back later than expected.
That's right.
On the subject of music, Aunt Mary and Uncle Art hosted me when I was about, I don't know, 16, 15, in Tacoma. You don't remember taking me to my very first musical, Annie,
Oh, I
in
did.
the Fifth Avenue Theater. It was life-changing for me because I'm a musical buff now, and I will go to a musical 15 times if I get the opportunity. But you opened that door to me, and I just was entranced. I remember we sat in the back, but the whole Annie play and going for dinner afterward to some crab restaurant, seafood restaurant on the ocean.
Is that the time I took you on the first taxi ride too? No, that was somebody else.
I don't remember taxi drive.
That was Angie. Yep.
No, but I remember we were walking downtown Seattle, and you took us into one of the fancy hotels, and you told the story about when you used to travel a lot and go all kinds of different cities, and you would check out the bathrooms in the lobby to see whether or not that was a really good hotel or not. Because if the lobby restrooms were not beautiful, it was not really a nice hotel. So those are my life lessons.
Did you check these ones out here?
It's true, the balance right now, so we don't say that.
Scott and I got married just after Art and Mary. We got married just a few years after you, and I don't know why we did this. I guess we didn't have very much money, but we stayed with a lot of uncles and aunts on both sides of the honeymoon. Oh, like heavens to Betsy's. But anyhow, we stayed with you, and we had so much fun. You had those beanbag chairs, and then you and I made patterns, and I came home and made them, and we sent Art M&Ms because he says, "Didn't you bring me any M&Ms?" And we had so much fun.
That was on your honeymoon.
We know it.
We were younger, and at Christmas time, Mom couldn't afford anything really. But we wanted to make sure you each got $2.
Yeah.
And I have to make the list now. Now, did you remember everybody? Don't forget anybody. And that was so important to her. She couldn't even afford to buy gifts for everybody, but those couple of dollars in an envelope and each child, I don't know if anybody remembered that. But that's cool. That's what you got for Christmas.
Talking about Christmas, I remember the Christmas we came to Tacoma to. The Jansen thing was down on Uncle Arnett Mary's in Tacoma, and we all went. We had our first, Rick and I were married, we had our first one. I think Jim and Debbie were there too. And we came down there, the kids all got little Christmas gifts to hang on the tree. I still have those Snoopies that I hang on the tree. I think of you when I put them. Little Snoopy.
Snoopy's.
Yeah, little Snoopy's. And those came from Aunt Mary.
Those were good days. We used to have fun.
I have a couple of sweet memories too. When I remember one time when my sister and I, we must have been 10 and 11 or maybe even younger than that. We were spending some time on Vancouver Island, and Aunt Mary had my sister Jan and me come over on the Nanaimo ferry, and she met us there. We were the ones that she gave the first taxi ride to that she was talking about before. We'd never had fish and chips before. She took us out for fish and chips. And then we went to see the musical Oliver Twist. And we'd never done that before either. And it was just a fantastic little vacation for us. We stayed in her apartment. I think she had to work one day, so we must have been old enough to be alone.
It was a rooftop of a house.
It was. I remember that, a long stair to go up there.
Yeah.
And she had a ukulele. She taught us how to play the ukulele that weekend, and I went on to buy one and to play one. There were some records, some children's records that she had, and somehow that I wanted to find that Danny Kaye record that you had all the time. And Norm ended up finding it on eBay when I was in my 40s or 50s. You got me that long play record of Danny Kaye singing these kids' songs. You know, it's amazing the things that stick in your mind, but when you have someone that does those kinds of things for you and includes you as a young person, you know, when I was single, if I had been single like you, I'm not sure that would have even been on my radar screen, but it was on yours, and thank
I
you.
loved your kids.
We knew it, and we loved it, and she loved me again when I was 20 and moved from Southern California to the San Francisco Bay Area. I was going to try to get into nursing school there and work for a little bit before I did that, and she was single still. I think she was dating Art. But I came and lived in her apartment with her for a couple of weeks, I think, until I found a place of my own. She taught me hospitality around a big round, I remember this so vividly, she had this round coffee table that was, you know, you'd sit on the floor. And when I got my house, my own house later, probably 30 years later, I said, I'm getting a table just like that one Aunt Mary had.
And you still have it.
And I still have it. Well, Chelsea has it now.
Yeah.
But we sat around it and ate dinners together and stuff like that. It was just cozy and it was sweet. And those are some of the sweet memories that I have.
But Angie, what's really neat is now you are returning that blessing to her. You just took a trip there to spend some time with Aunt Mary and see where she lives, to meet some of her friends. And I hear that you guys had a really nice, very special few
We had a
days
wonderful
together.
visit, and
Angie
she
said
has
it was
amazing
lovely.
neighbors and friends,
Yeah.
just wonderful people surrounding her. But I'm sure that's partly who you are, Aunt Mary, because making friends takes two usually.
That's right.
And she has developed some wonderful relationships in South Carolina.
I have wonderful neighbors. I mean, if I've ever got a problem, they're right there.
Sometimes
You aren't there, but they are.